Well, hello there. It is Saturday, 20th of July, 2019, Journal 114, T plus 109. Wow, crazy, huh? And welcome to my world once again. We finally got things put away. We finally got things cleaned up. Um, I'm finally starting to feel human again with the benefit of somebody else's blood coursing through my veins. Uh, Whoever donated that blood, I sure appreciate it. Um, Probably going to be needing more as time goes on. Probably going to be needing more for the next year, actually. But we'll see about that. We'll see when my stem cells finally start producing marrow and normal, healthy red blood cells, which would be a wonderful thing to have happen. I'm sure it's already happening. We just don't know how much. And the only way to find out is to let it bottom even further than it's gone. And I'm not prepared to do that. Neither is the doctor. And I say that this is a good thing. So I spent a good part of today and yesterday cleaning up Misfire, the book that I just completed. Uh, in all honesty, the book probably kept me sane and focused over over the certainly the last couple of years as I was finishing it up. Um, After I felt compelled to revisit it, uh, and I don't know how you can be grateful to yourself for for creating that arduous a task one that demands your complete concentration, uh, especially when there were as many revisions and additions to the book as there were. If anybody's thinking about writing a book like fighting amyloid cancer and enjoying the benefits of a stem cell bone marrow transplant, it is not for the faint of heart. Um, we're probably going to there is something that I'd like to talk about tomorrow, and I'm just going to keep that to myself for now, unless it bubbles up again, because it's been trying to do that most of the evening. Been trying to do that since the afternoon, but this is still another instance uh, where you get halfway to the door. You move. The door is 5 feet away. You move halfway to the door. You've got 5 feet to go. No problem. It's closer and closer. You move another halfway to the door, and you have 2.5 feet. That's great. You can reach the knob. You move another halfway to the door, and you're right on top of it. But as you move halfway to the door, each time you'll never quite get to the door because you'll always be just that ever so slightly far away from it. Um, we finally got all of the Kindle digital printing revisions done, or at least we thought we did. And for both the ebook and for the print on demand copy of the book. And for the first time today, I actually got to see what the book is going to look like, both as an ebook, and what it's going to look like in a Kindle reader, or on your iPad, or on your whatever platform device you have. And it was, that's kind of a moment. I mean, it really was kind of a moment. I mean, you don't start out. I don't think anybody who writes a book ever has any concept of what it's going to involve, how long it's going to take, how exhausting and frustrating it can be. just dealing with the characters you created is enough to drive you halfway nuts, because if you build strong enough characters, they have a mind of their own, and they flat won't do what you want them to do. They'll look at you. I know this sounds strange, but you have to visualize it. But the character that you created, that lives in your head and that you put on paper, will actually turn around and look at you and say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not something I would do. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it that way for sure. So I finally got to take a look and see what this thing that I gave birth to after, I was going to say the same gestation period as a whale, but it's longer than that. This book is going to look like, and it really was, it was quite an amazing moment for me. But when we got it, we got it to that point where I could actually see it, where the editor and I could share the pages, see the both the e-book page and especially the print on demand page. We realized that there was still work that had to be done, because the formatting, while fine for the program that we were working in, had to be modified slightly. The text, the PDF had to be modified slightly so it fit the print-on-demand parameters a little bit better. It's actually nothing that would stop us from printing the book, but it is something that aesthetically didn't look as good as we wanted it to. So I guess there was a lot of relief, having gotten to the point where it was finally done in that regard, or at least done enough so that probably on Monday we're going to be able to go ahead and take another look at it and be sure that everything is taken care of. There were some things that we wanted to add to the cover, a couple of points afterwards that we wanted to add to the cover, that we finally have the opportunity to do now that we're getting ready to pull the trigger. I keep saying we, it's a majestic plural, it's me. Get ready to pull the trigger. It's me with my editor's help, in all honesty, all fairness, and deep gratitude. Pull the trigger and let it go. And we have the opportunity to do that. And I keep thinking about the role that writing the book and editing the book over the last, well, we've been at treatment and recovery, going into the program September, I would say 2014, 2018, probably at least 4.5 years. 4.5 years of being diagnosed, but certainly 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years of working on the book like it was a full-time job to try and get it done. And I keep trying to think of the role that played in my recovery, in my continuing recovery, and in my treatment. And I'm not sure that I can calculate it. I'm not sure that I can actually get my arms around it or my head around it to the point where I recognize how much more than just a distraction it was. Because for great chunks of the time that I was, getting ready for treatment, that I was waiting to see what would happen, I got to live in the world that I had created, which was an interesting world. As I said before, this is like a business book, but it's not just it's not a conventional business book, because the original audience that I'm writing for, that I'm still targeting, are small business owners and entrepreneurs, independent automotive repair shop owners, small contractors, liquor store owners, dry cleaning store owners, you name it. Anyone that wound up in business that didn't have the formal training in business that it takes to be successful, or the willingness and the strength to go ahead and seek out that knowledge and make that work for them. And I think being in that world as much as I was saved me. So, I mean, it's like, how do you say thank you to yourself for creating a world in which you could escape to, um, for which nobody was going to think that you were altogether crazy. So we're getting there, and it's exciting. And all we have these, halfway to the door, all we have is these couple of things left to do. And probably one of the most exciting announcements I'll make is that it's finally available, that it's finally out there in the universe. And those of you that have participated as readers or just in general support, thank you. It's meant a great deal to me to have that release, that outlet, that that alternative reality that helped me think about my two primary characters, Robert and Kurt, and their world more than I was worried about my own. So for that, I really say thank you, and I appreciate that. And we'll talk again tomorrow. We'll talk about 2 words. Remember, we were talking about keywords, but I want to talk about these 2 words tomorrow. So if I get sidetracked, somebody remind me, okay? Bye-bye.